Here's a bit of good news. The world is moving toward salary transparency. Legislators tend to like pay transparency laws because they believe it's a good way to start fixing pay gaps along gender and racial lines. In a perfect world, employers would post pretty accurate estimates of what they expect to pay for a given role. In negotiations terms, it means the employer sets the ZOPA before the employee even has their first interview or before the employee even applies for the job. And that's pretty cool because it saves a lot of work for job seekers. I cannot tell you how many times I've spent hours completing cover letters and putting my information into application portals only to learn that a job opportunity was never going to meet my salary requirements. Still, even in places where disclosure laws have been enacted, those disclosures are not perfect. Sometimes the listed salary band is super wide, like $40,000 to $160,000. I had a friend who saw his exact title posted at another company with a salary band that went above the pay that he was making. Naturally, he applied and listed the top of the band as his expected salary. Then he heard from a recruiter that the company didn't actually plan to pay the top of the range. So what do you do if a job's salary band isn't listed on the job posting, or if the listed band is really wide? Okay, rant over. If you're in the role research phase and you haven't had an interview yet, you might be able to get a sense of an employer's pay practices on Glassdoor or another job search website. Depending on the industry and the size of the company, the quality of this information can range from okay to bad. So what else is out there? Let's say your employer is a local shop. Can you tell what their direct competitors are paying for similar roles? If so, this can be a useful means of comparison. Now we're getting into deeper research. Most of the time, by this point, you'll probably have your answer. But there are a few other things you can do if you still have no idea what to expect. If the workplace is a nonprofit, look at their 990 forms. These are available online from the IRS. 990 forms don't have detailed information about rank and file employees, but you can see what the top earners make. Your future boss might be on there. You can compare the boss's wages to the boss level wages at a similar or competing nonprofit and get a sense of how your prospective employer's wages stack up. Finally, if all else has failed, you can look for comps in areas with a similar cost of living that are covered by wage transparency laws. You can use the MIT Living Wage Calculator to find an estimate of the cost of living in your region. Lastly, if you're close to an offer, it never hurts to ask around and see if anyone in the company will pull back the veil a little bit. This is a little bit delicate. People can be squirrely about talking about their own salaries, so you want to tread carefully. Attitudes have improved in recent years, but this tactic might not go your way. You might not get much information, or you might risk offending someone. But if you know someone who knows someone at the company who can give you an intro, it's worth having a vaguely uncomfortable conversation. It could mean a difference of many thousands of dollars. Now, one final thought on this. Salary research doesn't end when you sign on the dotted line. Keep tabs on your employer. You want to know about if they list your role online with a salary range. Do you fall within that range? If you don't, you have a reason to talk to your manager about why. Maybe you can get a raise. It's not fair for them to hire somebody in the same role without making sure that you have pay parity. Pay is just one component of a lot of full-time jobs. There are also benefits to consider. I was talking to a manager recently, and she told me that the benefits that her company offers cost the employer about 50% of the salary. That's a huge number. So in the next video, we're going to discuss benefits.